Good morning, excuse me, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. God bless you. My name is Pastor Yemi Omogoyega. Pastor Yemi Omogoyega. Thank you for patronizing our channel. Please stay tuned with us always. Subscribe to our channel, share our videos, press the like button, press the notification button so that you get to know when we upload new videos. God bless you. Now, I want to quickly talk on Nigeria's unity under threat. Nigeria's unity under severe threat. And let me just sing part of our current national anthem. I will not complete the first stanza. I'll just take the most relevant portion that relates to what I want to talk about. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native lands, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Though tribe and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. That's just what I need, because I'm not singing to entertain. The wordings of this national anthem, which we returned to, actually express the nature, the diversity, and the string that bound us together as a nation. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we are together. When I see the developments that are coming up these days, if not that I have a large heart, and I still have that same large heart, if not that I have a large heart, I would have just woken up one day and declared for Yoruba nation. I would have woken up one day and begin to support the IPOB Biafra nation. I would have woken up one day, thank God, even one Fulani professor was analyzing the nature of Nigeria, especially the northern Nigeria, that the northern Nigeria actually subscribes up to this nation, up to 78% of this nation's needs, be it in agriculture, particularly in agriculture. And that the northern Nigeria has, I think, is it 68% owns the 68% of the nation, Nigeria. And that the northern Nigeria has the greatest number of natural resources that God bestowed upon this nation. And so on, and so on, and so on. Therefore, he wanted Nigeria to break up. I don't know the name they will call their own, but he wanted Nigeria to break up into pieces and into several nations. Therefore, I would have embraced his cry, because it seems as it is now, everybody is tired of the entity called Nigeria. I don't blame him. That is the kind of frustrations that the Igbo people and the Yoruba people were facing that made them to be calling for their own sovereign state. Yoruba nation, Biafra nation. Because everybody is frustrated. And if the North can come to us now and say they are frustrated, and justifiably, they should be. They should be, because the North is the most oppressed part of Nigeria. Oppressed by who? Oppressed by the Northerners themselves. This professor that is speaking, how much, for goodness sake, of this kind of beautiful presentation has he made to his northern governors since he was able or knowledgeable enough to be able to campaign for the development of the North? I'm happy it's now coming up at the national level that the nation should break up so that the North can be on her own. Now, I would have just come up and say, yes, we've all agreed, Yoruba nation, Arewa nation, or whatever they will call it, then Biafra nation, that would have solved the problem of Nigeria. And that would have answered to the agitations surrounding Nigeria every day now. But however, as I said, there is a saying in Yoruba language that says, Agba kìí ṣorò bí èwe. That is, elders don't behave like youths. Elders don't behave or don't reason like youths. Youths are full of energy and they are always hasty in doing their things. But elders will sit down and weigh the pros and cons before they arrive at any decision. They look at the implications thoroughly. For instance, all the three agitations we have in Nigeria, major, because I know that some more will come later. If these three survives, I know that somebody will still call for Urobo nation, somebody will call for Ibibio nation, somebody will come for Kano, no. Maybe even among the northern states, not everybody will want to go together, because honestly speaking, The only complication and complexity of the northern region is the fact that they, the Hausas have since lost their identity, and that will be an opportunity for them to cry out for an Hausa nation, while Fulani nation might stand alone. So when we see all these things, like I did say, I would have quickly jumped at this professor's request if I didn't have the larger heart, if I'm not matured, and if I want to behave like the youths who are full of hastiness and full of energy, and they want things done quickly and in a military way without considering the complications and the implications and the aftermath, the possible aftermaths of whatever they are doing. That's what makes the difference between the elderly one and the young one. But what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages of the youth's strategy for doing things is that they can easily lead nations to war. They can cause commotions in family. They can cause trouble. You remember the biblical one, I can't remember the name of that king now, that the son of Solomon also, that said, look, he made consultations after becoming the king. He made consultations with the elders. They gave him matured advice. Then he called the youths of his age to give him advice. And the advice said, tell them, your father treated us badly. We will treat you worse. Say, your father treated us, punished us with Cain. We will, well, let me just use it, let me say it in a layman's language. Say, your father punished us. I will punish you the more. I will use scorpion against you this time. Please, those of you who are familiar with that story, the bottom line is that your father did what was bad. I will do the worst things to you. It's not all the time that I could remember the exact words of this Bible. There's so much to put up there. Let's get the message right. So, the implication of the elders' strategy is that they will be considered as too slow, too sluggish, and they will rather allow things to get spoiled before they take action and all that. You can imagine. Who are the elders now? For instance, take the government as an entity. Government will weigh things here and there before they take any decision that may simply backfire. Let me give you an example of what happened to President Tinubu at the ECOWAS, as the chairman of the ECOWAS, in the matters of the Niger versus the rest of West Africa, and which backfired on Nigeria. No doubt, President Tinubu, as the leader of the ECOWAS, would have a say as the leader. And then the community, that is the ECOWAS, everybody knew that there is nobody in this world now that's interested in the military coups that have plagued us into where we are, plunged us into where we are today. There is no sane nation that will want to have the military ruling them. We have had a taste of it in Nigeria. We know it is a bitter pill. Because when you look at all the corruptions that are happening here, it all started with the military looting the treasuries of this nation. And if I want to tell you, I want to buttress that for you. Why did the Murtala Obasanjo administration sacked the Gowon administration? Because as at that time, nobody knew anything much about what was happening in this nation. Everybody, there is food, there is everything, so nobody cared. And nobody knew there was anything like corruption in Nigeria. Indeed, we are hailing the Gowon's administration. And we thought all was well until Murtala Obasanjo came and started probing their predecessors. And a lot was revealed. Not only that, when the Buhari administration took over power, what happened? No, when the Babangida administration took over power, what was the cause? I mean, it was glaring that the Babangida administration, was not going to be better than the administration of the Gowon era. Yeah, that what will happen? Those who knew the military well knew that, the incoming government was going to encourage corruption. And a lot happened under that administration. When the Buhari administration took over, can't even remember, I think I'm putting it upside down now. I think is it Buhari that came first or Babangida or whichever. But let me talk about Buhari's administration. The corruption that he brought to light in Nigeria, that Nigerians never knew, that only the military and the elites knew about. That is the drug war. When Buhari came up, Diagmo administration came up and started hard on drug pushers. Who knew what was drug pushing? Who knew what was called drug pushing? Who knew about cocaine? Who knew about heroin? Who knew about all these drugs before? Whereas people were making serious money from it, and we the downtrodden then were worshipping them. And the example of it which which Buhari Idiagbo's administration made was the killing, to use a plain language, the killing of the duo of Bartholomew Owo and I can't remember the name of that second guy now. And, as a military something, no, you can't stop them from doing anything. The offense they committed, there was no law against it then. What they did was to do a law that will retroactively, which can never happen in democracy. If you commit offense and there is no law against that offense under a democratic dispensation, and a new law is made, you cannot make that law to go back and punish the sin that was committed yesterday because it was not written. That's part of the technicalities of the law. But in the military dispensation, they went back, and that is the nature of the military. You can't stop them. They are not democratic, so they want to achieve what they want to achieve, even if it means making the law that will go back to the ancient times to make that law effective immediately. And that was what the Buhari Idi Agbon administration did, that led to the death of those cocaine pushers. So if you put all this together, you will discover that, okay, forget about what happened during the Buhari democratic dispensation, which was very bad anyway, because under his watch, corruption thrived. And unlike when he was in the military, where they could make laws and retroactively to catch up with them, he could not. That's the disadvantage of a democratic setup, because you will be upon debate upon debate upon debate until the substance is lost, until probably even you have injustice. Otherwise, what would you say of those who put in their pockets the security votes of this nation, that is the Dasuki Gate matter? What would you say about that? You see Dasuki Gate, now I can't even remember. I mean, those who pocketed the money meant to fight the Boko Haram of this world and to make this nation secured, and they pocketed that money, and a lot of probes have come in, and many are in court. EFCC is battling with some. I don't know how long that will take, but today they are walking free. But if it was under the military dispensation, they would have since been put in jail. Even during the Buhari Idi Agbon's probing of the administration of UPN, that is led by Jakande in Lagos State then, I think there's this gentleman who we all respected, a commissioner for education, Dr. Idris Olawale, who bagged, I think it's life imprisonment, if I'm correct. I stand to be corrected there. Life imprisonment for engaging in oil bunkering. You can see, he bagged that. The nature of corruption in this nation. But contrast that with Yahaya Bello, who stole so much, allegedly, from the state's treasury and is walking free today in Nigeria. So these are just digressions. These are just to give basis to whatever I am saying. Tell me, who is the greatest nation, the greatest enemy of this nation than those who engaged in corrupt practices, be you in the military, be you in the civilian era? Whereas if we examine the wordings of that national anthem very well. It is so instructive that we are a diverse nation. And that diversity itself is a blessing. The larger we are, the better for us. America has 50 states. And America has several languages. And these 50 states is a mixture of, in fact, can we say representatives of the entire world, people from all over the world. And they are doing well today. In fact, I think this is our statement. Though, can I sing it now like say, though America, though tribe and tongue, let me put it this way, sing it for America now. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood, America stand. I think this statement is more practical in America, in Britain, in Russia, than it is in Nigeria. So those who worded that national anthem, they knew what they were saying. If only we that are concerned, or for whom this song was beautifully composed, we are conscious of the fact that we have to tolerate one another and that we have to forge ahead together as a nation, as a people, and as a nation. Recently, we understand a move is being made by the present governor, the President Asiwaju, Bola Ahmed Asiwaju. Maybe, I don't know whether the bill is already in the National Assembly, because that is one of the things that this professor is reacting to, or whether it is just being contemplated, that there is this move to bring Nigeria back to regional setting. And this is what allegedly triggered off this professor that says Nigeria, he had been supporting Nigerian nation all along, but that if this government goes for the regional government, then the northerners will have to go. And unfortunately, or can I say fortunately? Unfortunately for this nation to survive, for this nation to remain together, there are only two options left. Only two options left. Because of what is happening that we are seeing in this nation. We are never standing in brotherhood at all. The wordings of that national anthem, you see, I was a critic of this administration for bringing back the old national anthem, because the way I look at it is still kind of refreshes our memory of the colonial mentality. I felt like, oh, are we moving forward or going backward? I was even asking, what we need now, is it a national anthem that went back to the old, or a good governance that will solve the problem of this nation? But as time went by, I began to reflect upon the wordings of our second national anthem. They did not capture, you see, the old national anthem really tells the history of how we came together. though tribe and tongue may differ, we are many, plurality of the nation. But what binds us together is brotherhood. Brotherhood is love. Brotherhood is oneness. Brotherhood is unity. So that kind of, you see, arise, O compatriots, Nigeria call obey, to serve our fatherland, presupposes that Nigeria is one. Whereas what we are getting in the practical is not what that national anthem is saying. The reality is that that national anthem, Arise, O Nigeria, is an advanced thinking that we have gone beyond religious, ethnic diversities, and then diversities, and that we are already bonded in such a way that we don't even need to be talking of though tribe and tongue may differ anymore. Very sensible. We don't need to be talking about anything. Already in brotherhood, we are already standing. So we are not even interested in reminding ourselves that we have Igbo, we have Hausa, we have Yoruba, we have Ibibio, we have Kanuri, we have all sorts of things. We are already one, whereas we are not. And that is the problem we have now. Because if we are one Nigeria, that a lot of us have been conversing for, and which today I'm still conversing for, I still see, honestly speaking, I respect the opinions of my people who are frustrated, and eventually they were calling for Yoruba nation. I respect the views of my Igbo brothers who are frustrated and decided to be asking for IPOB nation. Now, I have to respect this professor's call for a northern nation because he is frustrated. Simply, but the basis of his frustration is faulty. We have seen how you see, when we are talking of the North, it is so difficult to talk about, and it's so difficult to analyze. Very, very difficult to analyze, because the most troublesome section of the North is the Fulani. Truth be told. Fulani people, Hausa people are easygoing. Today, the Fulani people have suppressed and are oppressing the Hausas. The Hausas themselves are coming up now, rather too late anyway, to do anything. They are coming out now to say their minds. Fulani taking over the entire entity called Nigeria, grazing their lands, rending the nation into the food insecurity that we have today is enough even for this nation to call for a breakup. The number of lives that they've killed, even in the North. How many times did Samuel Orton cry out then that he was governing a nation that he was tired of governing a nation of dead people, a state that is of dead people? How many people have they killed up to Sokoto? Because of cattle rearing. And when we now say, let us move forward, let us practice what is ranching, Fulanis opposed it. In this modern day, how can somebody be? I had opportunity as a farmer to interact with some Fulani herdsmen in my farm at Erio Ekiti, Agric Center. When my maize was ripe for harvesting, they came to me. Please, when you want to harvest, we want to be there, we'll help you to harvest. Our cows, we need to eat up the leaves. I was happy. These are the good Fulanis. They came to me. Daddy, when you are ready, we will help you to do your harvesting. But we need to graze the, they were so, as I'm talking about the Fulani, don't misunderstand me. They are very good, humble Fulanis. But they are the militant, uncaring ones. After all, the ones that I'm talking about, they are headers. I even snapped photographs with them. And when the day came, I called them. I said, okay, brothers, come in brotherhood we stand. Brothers, my brothers, you need the waste. I need the substance. And they came. What would have taken me several days to harvest, what would have cost me so much money to hire laborers to do, they did for me free. They took what they wanted without hurting my needs. And we all work together in unison as brothers that we are. And the second experience I have with the Fulani, the good Fulanis, was that we were in the farm one day and they came. We sat down. When they came, we would sit down and share experiences. One of them said to me, Daddy, you see us, day and night in the bush, trying to feed these cows. Things were not even as bad as this then. That the cows you are seeing, the cow business, is not profitable. That we don't even make enough money to be able to cater for ourselves. Honestly, when he said that, when I saw cows were being sold as at then, up to the most expensive one then would be like 150,000. The biggest one. Whereas when my father died, I think the closest to the biggest that we bought was only 80,000. When my mother died, I think we bought a whole cow just for about 50-something thousand naira. The biggest that we can ever think of then. The biggest that we can afford. 50,000 naira. So when you look at all these things, they themselves, they are suffering. Said, Daddy, we are suffering. So if the Fulanis are saying that, the good Fulanis, whereas I have another farm at in another location. That one was about 3 hectares. That's 75 plots. The Fulanis, led by our own Yoruba people, never allowed me to do any farm there successfully every year. I wrote, I went to them, I begged them, I threatened them, I did everything. Till today, I had to abandon that farm. I never planted cassava there and had the opportunity of harvesting them. The cows will eat them up. The same thing, the maize. I only had an opportunity once to harvest my maize there. After that, it was even before the maize will grow, the cows would have eaten them up. And they don't operate during the day, they operate at night. And that's the local one. How about the Bororo ones that will come, ravage everywhere, and clear up this, whatever it is that the farmers planted? That is the nature of the bad Fulanis. And you can now see the nature also of the good Fulanis. So if the Fulanis are now saying because we're asking for a regional government, then they will go, so be it. The only important thing is let us go peacefully. If we can agree, then I will join my Yoruba Nation brothers and sisters. Thank God that those bodies are already standing. The Igbo people will join their IPOB brothers, because there is no brotherhood in us. And I believe this government came in with that the idea of the national anthem, the old national anthem, to remind us of the basis of our unity. But the basis has since been eroded. I did another farm in, what do they call this place now? Along after, I may remember later, Orin, Ekiti. I did a farm there, farm settlement. All these farmlands were grazed. Cassava, I spent so much. I did about 5 hectares there. 5 times 15. We know what that means. Plots of land. I didn't come out with nothing. These people will uproot my cassava and give to their cows. So if they are now saying that they are going, I think the government should listen to them. We, the people, should listen to them, which means that there is no brotherhood at all. They are not willing to be. Another one came out and said the North must retain power, political power at all times. I hate talking tribal matters. But the more you try not to talk about it, the more they drag you into it. If that is the case, then let us begin to defend our tribal sentiments. I have said it once. If the nation splits, but splits peacefully, there is no part of this country that cannot survive on its own. No part of this country cannot survive on its own. Thank God he identified the arable lands in the north. Thank God we have arable lands in the south. We have in the south-south. We have in the southeast. We have everywhere. But if Nigeria will continue to exist, the Fulanis must, and those who are scholarly amongst them, should enlighten them to understand that brotherhood is better than the separatist movement that we are talking about. And if brotherhood must stand, we must respect each other's views. Honestly speaking, like the 2 options that I said Nigeria has, is either to break up or to go for regional government. And regional government is better because at least what you are asking for, you will get. You will manage resources in your domain. I will manage resources in my domain. And we all contribute to the center. Is that not what America did? So, if we don't want that, Then the next thing is to split. A lot of these developments that are coming, rearing their ugly head these days, the issue of Sharia law, bringing Sharia law to the Yoruba land, is another thing. And unfortunately, our corrupt Yoruba people, visionless Yoruba people, wicked Yoruba people, are the one muting that idea. Let's see how far they can go. If we are still promoting religious matters. Look, let me give you the example. Even Christianity that predominates the southern part, the people have read and they have discovered the corruption they are doing to their people. They are fighting them today. How much more when you bring a Sharia law that has no peace in its setting to an otherwise peaceful geographical area? What do you want to cause there? How are you? So people will now begin to kill themselves. People will now begin to trouble themselves. Instead of us thinking forward, we're thinking backwards. And who are the owners of this Sharia law? The Fulanis. Is there another way of infiltrating the entire Yoruba land? It is these same you people that are sponsoring the bill to remove the fact that religion is personal, to remove it from the constitution so that you can go ahead and behave lawlessly. Who does not understand that if that word is removed, then overnight, the Sharia you are bringing now would have come since with impunity. We are talking of a world that needs love now. And you are still talking of the world of the Old Testament that is ruled with law, and the law failed, and God brought love. And today, love is what should reign, not law. The law has failed, and God has removed it. Go and read Hebrews 7, verse 22. Christ brought in a New Testament that took away or superseded the old one. That is in Christianity. But the diversity between Islam and Christianity is that Islam still uses the law. And that is why a religion that would have been a religion of peace turned around to be the opposite. Because wherever you use the law does not avail for peace. It is tit for tat. Do me, I do you. So, I think we should begin to think whether we want to be one or not. If we want to be one, let us identify that we have diverse natures. We have diverse nature, and we have to recognize that. And then we have to unite to overlook those diversities and let brotherhood be the basis of our existence. And then love will take over. No sector or no section of the nation should lord it over another. No section of the nation should have that evil ambition that their own will alone must prevail. Otherwise, let them go. It's good now that we have the north wanting to go, the east wanting to go, the south wanting to go. Let everyone go their way. So it has lent credence to those who are agitating for Yoruba nation, Hip-Hop nation. Now, I don't know the name we'll give to that one. Is it Arewa nation? Then by then we'll begin to address the issue of the portion that Hausa will be. Maybe we'll have Hausa nation, and then we'll have Fulani nation. I think that's just enough. I can't imagine us not wanting to make progress. Look at the threats being meted to President Tinubu. Did these people do this to Buhari? Why? If we are in brotherhood. Why? Buhari messed up everything. We were looking. It's another turn of another people, and then you come up and begin to attack and threaten that, issuing threats of all sorts. The only thing that gives me succor is that, well, I am not close to the center of the government. The government should know better. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I know he will have a dilemma. When Buhari was there, he could not tame his people because they are his people. Now, the dilemma that Tinubu will have is that if I deal so decisively with this, otherwise this professor should have been arrested. And the other one that was calling for, what is it that was calling for, whatever, power, that was threatening the government, should also be arrested. Even the professor is still okay. It's because he's still saying his mind. At least analytical, and he says it's still reason. Honestly, he shouldn't be, forgive me, he should not be in jail at all. He should not be arrested at all. He is just in the group of our leaders in the Yoruba nation and Hip-Hop nation. But he should be watched, closely monitored. That's all. It is not, but the one that is threatening, that one should be in the jail by now. But if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu orders his arrest now, they will say it's because he's a Fulani man, and then that will fuel the embers of their evil campaign. And if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not do anything, we will say he's a weak somebody. He's a stooge to the Fulanis. So where does he stand? That is the problem of governance, or the problem of leadership. You have so many interests to balance. I just pray that God will give him the wherewithal to be able to manage this dangerous thing. And let, till tomorrow, as I speak with you, I'm still for Nigeria. I'm still for Nigeria. But if these people will continue this way, if Arewa or whatever says they want to go, then I agreed. I agree, and then I become a Yoruba nation person. The day we agreed to that, that is the day I become a Yoruba nation person. But to me, I still believe that the larger we are, the better. If there is anything, if only we understand that in brotherhood we stand, we will not be talking of all this. We will not be facing the government to do the right thing, to make life better for all. And even if we are saying do the right thing to make life better for all, why is the northern people, where are the northern people not holding their governments responsible? Make sure that none of their governors' children go abroad for education, for health, for medical checkup. that their governors make sure that every of their governors' children attend public schools, which they never provided or never funded. And make sure that their governors go for this nomadic school. Yes, let them be part and part of the people, Almajiris, that are going, having their education while they are rearing cows. Maybe by then, something will click in their heads as to how wicked they have been. What have they done with all the allocations they have? We are crying that the North is the most backward. Who are responsible for it? Is it the Igbo man that is ruling that place, or is it the Yoruba man that is ruling that place, or is it the south or southeast or southwest person that is ruling the place? Do they not have governors? What did they deliver? Please, so all I just appeal for is that if we must stay together, let us stay together, which I love most. How will I now see my fellow Hausa friends as foreigners? How will I now see my Igbo brothers as foreigners? How will they see me as foreigners? It's not as if we can't still relate. We can, but it will not be the same. How will I be taking visa before I go to Imo, to Owerri, and I take visa when I'm going to Kaduna? It looks absurd to me, where I will easily go before I want to go to Jos, and then I begin to go through the immigration processes. To me, why do we choose difficulty when there is easiness? Why do I choose that? So, brethren, let us remain one. If we don't want to remain one, let us agree that we don't want to remain one, and let everybody go their separate ways. That way I have a home to return to, Yoruba nation. The Igbo man has a home to return to, Biafra nation. The other, whatever name they call in the north, calls itself Arewa or whatever, they have a home to return to. But make it peaceful. God bless you. Please share this video extensively. We need this video to get to all Nigerians. Let us debate this thing and let us talk. If we want to separate, we can still separate peacefully if only all of us will agree. But there is no basis for it. But if we choose it, that's our choice. After all, when the Israelites rejected kings and they went for secular government, when the Israelites rejected God and said they wanted kings, God gave them kings, and the people chose Saul. And God was still so loving that he told them what the reign of Saul will be. They said they wanted it, and he gave it to them. So let us choose what we prefer to choose. God bless you. Have a very wonderful day.